Greetings viewers, Eric the Car Guy here, also known as ETCG1 on this channel, and if it's your birthday, happy birthday. Today I'd like to talk about safe driving. I'm out in Oliver today. It's a nice day. I want to drive around a little bit, and it just got me thinking, am I a safe driver? So I'd like to talk a little bit about my driving habits, throw the conversation back to you, and find out where you stand on this whole thing. Let's start with speeding. I do speed. There are times when I do speed down the highway and exceed the speed limit, usually by a moderate amount. I usually don't go faster than 80, but here's the thing. It's when conditions allow. So if it's a nice day like today, the roads are dry, fine. And it's an open road. I'm not doing this through traffic. I'm not like one of those people that weaves in and out of traffic. I don't see that as a viable option. However, when I'm out on an open road and it's kind of flat, maybe a little boring, and I want to get there, maybe I gotta pee, I don't know, I might exceed the speed limit a bit to get to where I'm going just a little bit quicker. But once again, I do it within reason. So does that make me not a safe driver? I mean, I really try to pay attention to the road conditions and drive to the road conditions. Also traffic. Sometimes there's other traffic that's going even faster, and it seems to me to be, I don't want to say less safe, but when people are whizzing past you or trying to cut you off and do all that stuff while you're going the speed limit, construction zones. I'm very mindful of construction zones. However, if it's like the middle of the night, nobody's there and it's shut down, I might go a little faster than the posted speed limit for the construction zone. There's nobody around. However, when there's active workers in a construction zone, heck yeah. I don't want to take someone's life or accidentally hurt somebody or something like that. Not to mention, that's going to really screw up your driving record and everything else. Tailgaters. I'm guilty of doing it sometimes under certain conditions, okay? And those conditions are, if say I am speeding, I usually leave a little more distance between me and the car in front of me if I'm going to speed. If somebody is going faster and they cut in front of me, or do something like that, I consider that somewhat of an invasion of my personal space. And I may react badly. And in the sense that if we're stopped in traffic or we get to that traffic light, I might decide to basically park my car right up their tailpipe, just to let them know that I'm dissatisfied with the fact that they invaded my personal space. Now, I'm sure my ego's working overtime during those times, and I try to do it in jest, but I don't exactly consider that a safe practice, and I'm not really proud of it. However, it's really hard to suppress those feelings. The older I get, however, it gets a little bit easier. Now, people tailgating me, this really annoys me. And now that the brakes are all tuned up on the Vigor, one of my favorite things to do is wait till the very last second before I apply the brakes and make a turn, just to give these people a little bit of a surprise, to let them know that they feel a little bit too close, once again invading personal space. I feel like my automobile is an extension of my personal space. I think I've mentioned this in other videos, that people wear their cars like they wear their clothes. I'm a firm believer in that. And I'm guilty of it myself. But that being said, let's move on to something else. Male and female drivers. I'm sure this is going to come up somewhere. Now, I'm not going to try to create this whole gender war thing with this, or race war. I'm not going to get into that either. But statistically speaking, they say women are safer drivers. However, I have seen that to not so much be the case. Example. I go to the gym 5 days a week, and I drive right past a school, through a school zone. The school zone speed limit is 20 miles per hour. I slow down, I drive 20 miles per hour. I honestly don't have that far to go. I'm not in a hurry to get to the gym, especially on some days. But I see a lot of mommies in minivans driving their kids, whizzing past me to get to the school, probably because they're late. Now, are they doing something that's unsafe? Well, it's not like they let the kids out on the street to run around, but there is a reason why they post a slower speed limit. And anytime kids are involved, I don't want anything to happen in those instances, so I try to, quote-unquote, obey the law in those instances. But here I am, I'm seeing these women just whizzing past me and ignoring the posted speed limit to get to where they're going. Now, is that all women? No. But is that a safe practice? It's hard to say. So it really seems a bit unfair that they may have a cheaper rate on their insurance than I do. I will admit, I've mellowed over time. I don't take the same kind of chances I did at one point. I've mellowed out. But I wonder, when I get Oliver finished, how I'll actually drive it, because the car is not necessarily going to be set up for Sunday driving. And I'm actually considering taking this up to the track and doing stuff up there. I know, solid rear end, stop it, you know, just quit. And I also know that I need to get working on this. Trust me, nothing pains me more than walking into the shop, seeing this car and all the parts and not having time to do anything about it. But that's a different video altogether. I don't want to forget about a big one. It's a serious problem, and that's texting and driving, or doing other such distractive type things. Eating and driving. I'm guilty of eating and driving. I've done that. Now, is that necessarily a good thing? No, but I definitely do not text. And I used to do it. I used to text and drive, and my son was in the car, and he looked at me and he says, "Dad, you know, why are you texting?" And then I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? You're absolutely right. It can wait. Honestly, from that moment on, and that realization, it's funny how your kids teach you so many things. But anyway, from that realization, I'm like, okay, well, texting and driving, not a good thing. I no longer do that. However, I do still eat and drive, but it's like open highway. And once again, you know, it's boring drives. Maybe I just want to get there. I want to be done. And I don't know, I like to eat and drive. Now, I've seen other activities while driving between two people, and I think you know where I'm going with this. That is definitely not something I would consider safe driving. What other stuff can we cover in this topic? But first, I'm going to make a turn, and I want to pay attention. Yeah, filming myself while driving. Well, the cameras are locked off, and I'm paying more attention to the road. And that whole thing about texting and driving was making sure that you are paying attention to the road and the road conditions. And failure to do so is an unsafe practice. You know, does this come down to gender specific? Does it come down to youth versus age? Married versus unmarried? That's something that also apparently comes into play according to insurance statistics. But ultimately, I mean, what do you consider yourself? Do you consider yourself a safe driver? Do you consider yourself someone who's maybe a detriment on the road? Do you get angry? Are you full of ego like I am sometimes? Those types of questions. I'd love to hear more about it. There's comments down below to do that with. In addition, I'll put a link in the description to a discussion about this video over at ericthecarguy.com. Speaking of ericthecarguy.com, if you have automotive questions, hey, head on over there. I've got stuff there for you to help you with those automotive questions. If you wish to connect with me socially, there's Google+, Facebook, Twitter, also Instagram, and I close each of my videos. Be safe, have fun, stay dirty, and drive safe. I'll see you next time.